A shadow is the hidden or suppressed part of your personality. Someone asked me to talk about an effective shadow work. I don't think I am qualified to give you the steps, the process, the guidance in doing an effective shadow work. But I decided to write down some of the things that I have been doing, and also I paired it up with some research so we can talk about an effective shadow work that you can perform on yourself. It's like a ritual. A shadow is the hidden or suppressed part of your identity, the side of you that you have chosen to hide from the world because they judge it as bad, or they just judge it in general, not as bad, because people will judge, good or bad, they will judge. So because there's this judgment, you decide to suppress this part of yourself, you decide to hide it. That's a shadow. That is a shadow. Now, what is shadow work? Shadow work is the practice of exploring that hidden or suppressed part of yourself, exploring it. That's shadow work. Most people get to a point in their life where they just sense that something is wrong somewhere, and they want to retrace their step back to the point where it all went wrong, and they decide to explore their emotions, their actions, their everyday thinking. In doing that, that is them exploring hidden part of themselves, the ones that they know that is not conscious, the one that they know that is happening subconsciously. Once they decide to explore that part of themselves, that's shadow work. I personally, I have performed this act, and I am presently still performing this act. Every day, every second, I am performing the act of shadow work, always exploring every emotions that comes up, exploring every thought. When I get like a thought, maybe I'm out with friends, and suddenly while we're having fun, something just said, what if something bad happens? I don't feel it. I don't get scared. I don't just agree to it. I instantly observe that thought. And then I ask, why of all things? Why is that what comes to the mind? Why is that? Why didn't you just say, what if somebody dash you a Brabus or a G Wagon? Because these are my dream cars. Why is it that it has to be something has to go wrong? Why is it that it has to be, you know? So yeah, I explore it. That moment it is happening, I just dive into what is happening, why is it happening, or even though it's a feeling. But we're not here to talk about just me. I want you to actually understand what shadow work is and how you can actually perform an effective shadow work. I have been performing this, and it is effective. So this particular idea comes from Carl Jung. I've heard about him before, but I don't think I have started and finished any of his book. Who described The shadow as everything about yourself that you have pushed out of your awareness, usually because it was judged as bad or unacceptable, unsafe to express. Because it was judged as bad, unacceptable. People don't accept it, or unsafe to express. A shadow work can actually include emotion, which is the angry, the jealousy, the desires, sadness, or a trait that you deny. You have a particular trait, an insecurity, your sexuality, your pride, neediness, why you're always needy, and you deny being this person. Your sexuality too is shown upon, especially if you're a woman. You're not allowed to actually express your sexuality. In fact, you're not allowed to know it. You're just allowed to be whatever the opposite sex expects you to be. So sexuality too, most people find themselves hiding this from the world. And once you are disconnected from your sexuality, like once you do not embody your sexuality, this can actually affect you, like who you are. It can actually affect your character. It can actually, because it will place you on a circle where you are repeating patterns. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, insecurities too. Why you have them and you deny that you have these insecurities, like you have them deep down, you've just suppressed it, but you have them. Actually, if you don't explore that part of yourself, it will affect you somehow. Your past experiences, the ones that are unprocessed, the experiences that you have refused to process. Now, this is the one that is very common in the society that I live in. There are a lot of women that have experienced a lot, especially growing up, and this have actually affected who they are presently. And they refuse to see it, they refuse to look at those experiences, they refuse to process it because it was actually painful. Most of them went through either rape, harassment, violence, that's domestic violence. A lot of them went through so freaking much. And this has actually affected them. I know, let me not say I know personally, but I have seen and heard of some people that were sexually, or let's not say sexually harassed. Let me say they were, because they were small, and this act that was done to them actually affected who they became. Like presently, most of them tend to. Let me not get ahead of myself, but yeah, unprocessed experiences from your past can actually affect you if you don't process it, if you don't dive into that hidden and suppressed part of yourself, because it happened to you, so it's part of you. Now, these are everything that you fully don't own about yourself. You deny it. You deny it. I know how many of my past, how many of my traits, how many of my emotions that I personally suppressed. And because I was suppressing it and lying to myself, it affected who I became. And not until I was able to observe and look at my life and say, no, this is not who I was meant to be. Like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing, or this is not how my life is supposed to be. And then I started to go back to the origin, I go back to the source, which I'm still doing. Not until I did that, I was not able to free myself. I wasn't able to free myself. So everything that you refuse to own about yourself, these are the shadows that you need to explore, because if you don't explore it, it is going to control your life and you will call it fate. Why shadow work matter? Why shadow work matter? I want to move closer because I feel like sitting back there is really dark. Yeah, not everybody is going to perform this particular act, which is the shadow work. Not everybody will become aware of it. Not everybody that becomes aware of it will practice it. Not everybody that practices it will see it to the end. Okay, shadow work is in different levels. Shadow work is something that not everybody is meant to be aware of. Okay, not everybody is meant to process their emotions or their thoughts or their, anything. A lot of people are actually meant to be dormant, and like they are just meant to operate from a default system. They are not meant to wake up. Most people that are meant to wake, not most, the little people that are meant to wake up are people that are actually here to wake up. And these people, this percentage of people are really small. Okay. So it matters. Why it matters is if you're one of those people that are meant to actually wake up, that take control of your life and design your life into what you want it to be, because you can. There are some certain choices and decisions that you will make intentionally that will actually place you on a path where you are aligned with who you want to be. Okay, you can do it. So if you're one of those people that are meant to wake up and design your life just the way you want it to be, this is why shadow work matters. Now, it will help you understand yourself. If you are dormant and operating from a default system, are you going to understand yourself? No, because you're dormant. You are asleep. But then if you are awake, then you want to understand who you are, why you're operating the way you're operating, why you act the way you act, why you believe in the things that you believe in. You want to understand that aspect of yourself, and that's what shadow work will do for you. It will help you understand yourself. You wouldn't repeat the same patterns, okay? Most people don't know this. I have talked about this a lot. Maybe I'm not delivering my message well, because most of the time when I talk and make videos, I'm talking from an emotional point. I'm like always emotional. So I might sound like I'm really angry. But anyways, most people don't know this. Once you get to a point that you are able to form relationships. Yeah, I'm making a video. Once you get to a point that you're able to form relationships, the type of relationships that you form is going to be the same on every level of your life, okay, until you start noticing the pattern. And then if you don't like it, you can now change it. There's a pattern of relationship that you create, and this is coming from who you are. That is how you meet the people that you meet. So you wouldn't repeat the same pattern if you do your shadow work. If you don't like the patterns of people that you're keeping around you, friendship, intimate relationship, partnership, now you get to change it. Then you gain emotional control. Shadow work will help you do that, to gain emotional control. You don't project your traits onto others. You don't put like project shit onto others. You don't see people and feel cringe because you're seeing a part of yourself that you have refused to look at. You heal old wounds. Many people, a lot of people, sorry, I went off a bit. A lot of people are existing not knowing that whatever has hurt them, they can heal from. Whatever hurt that you've gone through in this life, if you want to heal from it, you can heal from it. If you want to keep it, you can keep it. If you want to keep reliving it, you can keep reliving it. Like the choice, it's all yours. Okay, so but if you're interested in healing old wounds and letting go of that old energy, you can actually do that by doing shadow work. You become more authentic and whole. This was one of the reasons why I did shadow work on myself. This was one of the reasons I decided to, check part of myself to understand what was wrong, because I realized that I wasn't being authentic with who I want to be. Like I wasn't being authentic with who I am back then or who I was back then. And I know that growing up, I'm always authentic and expressive. My parents will tell you that. Like I am very sharp when it comes to that. I'm always authentic and expressive. I'm always myself. But then along the line, I lost it. So I wanted to find that authentic part of myself, that part of myself that did not care about what people say, that part of myself that was always living life, feeling all her feelings, living life, you know, just making sure that nothing was being suppressed. I lost that part of myself while growing up. So I looked back and I was like, what's happening? Where is all these things coming from? Because now I had a lot of baggages. When I say baggages, I mean insecurities. I had a lot of hurts, emotions stuck in me. I had a lot going on, and it was not even helping the present life that I was now living. So I wanted to free myself of those baggages, because where did I get these insecurities from? Growing up, I never had insecurities. I never cared for where I was coming from or what I looked like or what was happening. I never cared for all those things. I was just living life happy. So I wanted to find out, okay, where was all these emotions and all this hurt and all these illusions of you are less, you are not valued, you're not loved. Where's it coming from? Where's it coming from? Like, you can't even express yourself at just communicate. Even though you're not speaking English, just talk your mind. You cannot do that, girl. Nah. That's why I started performing shadow work on myself. And plus the experiences I've had growing up, like the things that I have had, some of those things took out like I felt like my dignity was gone because of me participating in those experiences, like me being there and doing those things. I felt like it, because society judged these things and because society said these things are bad, I started judging myself and it affected me. But yeah, but now that I have accepted that part of myself, which is, going through shadow work and just accepting, I'm getting back to who I used to be before, you know. Lastly, you wouldn't feel stuck, you wouldn't be reactive or disconnected. Gone. Okay, gone. Reactive, that one is for sure. Because a lot of the time when you are feeling some certain emotions, you're actually reacting towards something. Like, reaction is why you feel the emotions that you feel. So you'll be able to control that part of yourself, because now you understand that if something external is happening, it shouldn't affect the state that you have chosen to be in. So today I woke up, I'm like, okay, today I want to have a beautiful day. I want today to be smooth, chilled, relaxed. Now, whatever it is that is happening outside of myself, which is my environment, shouldn't change that state. So allowing it change that state is you being reactive. But shadow work will help you see how you actually have power in stopping that reaction. Okay, so let's move to what shadow work should look like. Okay, what an effective shadow work should look like to me. To me, okay, to me. Like I said when I started this video, I am not um I'm not a professional anything. So I don't think I should be the one giving you steps, because they are professionals for this. I actually watched some videos and listened to some certain people for me to know about shadow work, and then I did research, and then I knew what I wanted to do on myself. I knew the work that I wanted to work on myself, and that is why I was able to do that particular work, because the part of myself that I wanted to explore, the part of myself that I wanted to set free, I knew, that particular part, right? And that is why I did it the way I did it, and I am doing it the way I'm doing it, because I am still working on myself. And growing up in the space of shadow work, like maturing in this process, is realizing that you can never stop doing or performing shadow work on yourself. Shadow work is not something that you do and stop. Okay. Yeah. So what shadow work should look like, an effective one. Now, this isn't fixing yourself. Okay, there is nothing wrong with us, baby. Nothing is absolutely wrong with any of us. Okay, the fact that I want to explore this hidden part is just for us to take control. Okay, it's for us to just design the life that I want to design, for us to understand who the fuck we are. It's not for fixing now, because we ain't broken. I just want to get that out of the way. Okay, this is more about us just self exploring, so we can take charge, so we can take the fuck charge. I was doing too much, so that was camera. Now, the first thing is you should start observing yourself to notice your triggers. Start observing yourself to notice your triggers. When you are taking actions, observe yourself. When you're thinking about something, observe why you're thinking about that. When you are having conversations, when you're feeling, when anything is happening, just observe why it is happening. Now, noticing your trigger, ask yourself, why did that bother me so much? Why does it bother me so much? I said that not a lot of people are meant to go through this particular act. Not a lot of people are meant to perform this act because not a lot of people are meant to wake up. Now, if you are meant to wake up and you are being triggered by something, you should know why you are being triggered, because now you are the god of yourself. Now you know the fuck you are. So why is this triggering me? That why am I being, why? I do this every time when I watch videos and it gives me the cringe. I'm like, why is this giving me that cringe? Like, why am I? I try to observe the feeling rather than just feel it. Okay, I try to pay attention to what exactly is happening. Why does it bother me? If you're cringe by looking at my video, why does it bother you so goddamn much? Ask yourself that shadow work. If you are cringe to not watching things that are, I don't want to start pressing any buttons, but I just wanted to throw an arrow to especially guys. There are a lot of people, especially African men, that get really cringe. Like it bothers them so much that women are making decisions for themselves now. I don't know where I stopped making this video because my phone battery became really low and then it went off. But then I'm back. I was saying something about cringe. So these men don't want women to make decisions. So they are cringed about it. They are really bothered. This always makes me ask, like, why are you guys bothered? I feel like it's something that all of you need to shadow work and find out why you're bothered about another human being having to take responsibility for their own life. Why another human being like you is making choices for themselves. Like, why do you want to be the one in charge of their own life? If you're fully in charge of your life, you wouldn't have time to want to be in charge of somebody else's life. So I'm always asking myself, but that's a talk for another day. My battery is going to die soon. Next thing you need to do is also, what part of me feels exposed or threatened, especially when you're being triggered. Ask yourself that question. The next thing you're supposed to do for an effective shadow work, but I'm not doing this, like I'm not a journaling person, but I want to be, but I feel like I'm more like talking. If I can journal with videos, I think I'd rather do that, or audio, than writing. I like to write. But anyways, journaling, when you journal, you should have questions like this. What do I judge? You need to find out why you judge people. Especially if you have problem doing that, that can be something that is happening because you have suppressed or hidden aspect of yourself that has to do with judgment. Okay, so find it out. Have questions like this. When do I feel ashamed of myself? When exactly do I feel ashamed of myself? I did this part. I did not journal. I asked myself, and I think I made a video because of that, talking about modesty. I don't know if it's life section. I used to be ashamed of myself before when my body is like exposed to strangers. But then I started asking myself why. Now, when I mean exposed, not at home because I'm a nudist. But then when I'm out, me as a nudist, when I'm out, like I'm always like cringe, But then I realized that it's because I believe that it is a bad habit, which it is not, or it is a bad thing to do, which it is not. The kind of clothes you wear is your way of expressing. Clothes are expression. So if you want to express comfort, express something, and you use your clothing, there shouldn't be any reason to be ashamed of that. I used to be ashamed of that, and that actually affects my style. Right now, I am a 33 years old woman that do not have a personal style. I am creating my style afresh because I just got to know who I am. Okay, if I had the opportunity to be who I was from growing up to this point without changing, without experiences, you know, changing the girl, I know I would have been like a badass, stylist, but see, I am not, I'm just picking my style up. Like I'm just finding out what my style is at this age, which is not bad because there's never the wrong time to know yourself. There's never a wrong age to be yourself. Every age that you become aware is the right time, okay? But yeah, I used to be ashamed, and it affected not just my style, the way I even express myself. It affected a lot. And sometimes I am ashamed of myself when I am not smart enough. Yes. Like I used to be so ashamed. You see my voice shaking, and I think I lost a pageant to this. I went for a pageant 2011, and I lost the pageant because I was asked a question and I was ashamed to talk because I was ashamed of myself. I was ashamed to talk because I was ashamed of myself. Anyways, the next thing you need to do after journaling is inner child work. Looking at your past and how your past have shaped you to either suppress or just to be who you are right now. Very important. Inner child work. Now, the second thing that has happened while making this video is my mic. I lost it. It's dead. My borrowed mic. But I was talking about the last thing. Let me quickly end this video because it feels like everything is trying to stop me from making this video, girl, for you. You would have asked me the question. But yeah, lastly, your inner child. You need to work on your inner child, okay? Most of you will never agree, but who you are right now, 90% of your 90% of your personality, your character, even your present reality is being created by your inner child. Okay, your inner child is what is creating what you're living through right now. So you need to work on it. You need to check the hidden aspect of why when you're growing up, what happened, and process those past experiences. Our present experiences are mostly shaped by our past experiences, especially the one that we have not processed, the one that we've not taken time to dive into, the ones that were done to us. If we don't take time and check what's up, like what did they do to us and how is it creating my present reality, it will just going to keep creating it and it will keep affecting your life. Like I said, you call it fate. I don't know why I'm rushing. I don't want any other thing to spoil the video before I end. So inner child work is the last thing. There are more. Like I said, we need professionals. Okay, me, I need professionals. I need professional. I know that I'm going to get to a point where I am aligned with a particular professional that I need to unlock some of my inner child because I know I can't really explore all of them. Not all of them have come to light. Not all of them have come to my awareness. I'm able to dive or explore the ones that have come to light, okay? And I need to explore more, right? And professional is what I need, or until I become a professional, because I'm making a lot of research and I'm working on myself so much that I know that with time, give it 5 years or 6, 7, I might become a professional. But that being said, yeah, inner child, there are more things that you can do on your shadow works, but these are the ones that I've been doing. Another thing I wanted to say is that you need to, once you start this whole process, you need to have it at the back of your mind that it is never ending, okay? It is never ending. Shadow work on yourself, once you master how to do it, I'm coming. Once you master how to do it, right? Or once you become used to doing it, because the more you do it, the more you become used to doing it. Now, it is something that you're going to be, it's like a lens that you start viewing your life from. It becomes like a lens. Like you become somebody that is constantly doing shadow work on themselves. Okay. It is no longer something that you have to take out time, and it is something that instantly it is happening, you're doing it, like you are about to take actions or you're already in a certain event, something is happening, something is occurring. You just automatically start observing from your shadow, okay? So it's like being in alignment with your light and shadow, like aligning them together, embodying the both. That's why I want to take control. Embodying the both. So once you're embodying the both, you're constantly using them to scout, okay, to interpret your reality, to interact with your environment. You're constantly on it, okay? So just have it at the back of your mind that it's
never ending. Even when you fall off, you gotta find your way back. Okay, you have to just remember that. Check yourself. Check yourself so that you're in charge of your reality. You're in control of your emotions. You're in control of your environment. Like nothing is putting you in a situation that you don't want to be in. Like everything that happens becomes like your intentions. Okay, your intention is the things that you experience, right? You're just in tune with yourself. So yeah, that's it. I hope this video was helpful to the person that asked the question about shadow work. Yeah. And thank you for asking, because most times when I get questions like this, I also use it to analyze my present state. Like when I got this question, I started using it to analyze exactly what I've been going through, like what I've been doing. So it's like structuring what I've been doing, like just paying attention now. Like, yeah, I did this and I did this, and this has actually helped me on my journey and it is helping me. You know, it's like checking yourself, which is something that is never ending. So thank you for asking me. I'll see you on any other question or any other video that I decide to put up. Okay.